fire if we live forever. Let us live forever tonight. Helicopters against the moonlight, our holy mother of the midnight.
What's up, folks? Sorry for the really janky start to the stream. I'm just trying some new stuff. That is Cathedral Spires in Colorado, about an hour from where I live in the Denver area. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Nothing too exciting today, just some building. Thought I'd start it off with a little video. I'm trying some different stuff. So last time I played a video to like start my stream, one of my FPV videos, and it was just super choppy. So I was hoping that playing it off YouTube instead of playing it off my hard drive, like an external hard drive, might be a little bit better. Didn't seem to be a lot better until I shrunk it down. So I just need to do what Ciottifpv does and have like a fancy frame and then plop the video in the middle. But I haven't set that up. So we've got way more people in the chat than I usually have. How's it going, everybody? My name is Daniel. I go by RimmyTim, or more recently, the FPV Mentor. I do all things FPV. Good to see a lot of familiar faces here. Paul McDonald, Grizz, Riot 9. Let's see, we've got Isaac M, Alley-Oop, Apple Juice, Slow Entropy, Bob Noxious, what's up, man? Family Guyver, good to see you. Chomper, yes, dude. Good to see everybody here. Feel free to tag me in the chat if you have any questions. B-Man, just in time for all the goodness. We're just building up a quad. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'm actually building up the quad for Daniel Lee, who I see in the chat right now. I've been putting it off for way too long, and just getting in front of the cameras as good motivation as anything else. So I just got home from work like 20 minutes ago, so my life's a little scrambled right now. I'm going to be kind of in and out so I can actually eat dinner. And yeah, let me switch over to bench cam. So since last time I set up I've worked on this quad a little bit. I think I've diagnosed the main issue, but we're going to be working on it a little bit. And what was I going to say? I totally forgot. And I'm totally unprepared for this. My sponge isn't wet. My soldering iron isn't on. So bear with me. That's what I was going to say. It's not, but it's another thing that I wanted to say. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm trying to build up this business of fpvmentor.com. Currently, there's not much of a website there, but if you reach out to me on any social media platform, email, wherever you can find me, the two best places are Instagram and Facebook. If you reach out to me and you want to work with me one-on-one, I am more than happy to help you with your build, with your build planning, with troubleshooting of issues. I don't do a ton of tuning help, but we got Ciottifpv for that, so who needs me? Yeah, feel free to reach out. I love helping, especially new and up-and-coming pilots with, say you've never built a 7-inch before and you just need to know kind of what direction to go. I love just helping people with that. So if you have any questions specifically in your mind right now, put it in the chat, tag me at RimmyTim, and there is a space between Rimmy and Tim. Yeah, tag me and I'd be happy to talk through some answers. Bear with me while I get set up here, and we'll get started shortly. The bench is messy, but it's an organized mess, I promise. I'm gonna get some music started as well, which is another improvement from the last time I tried to do this.
It feels like a lie to me when you say you want time with me.
Alright, you guys are gonna have to let me know how the volume between the mic and the GoPro and the desktop audio, how that balances out, but I'll be right back. All right. The other thing I need to do is get a chat up on this screen because apparently I'm not logged into YouTube on the... Here we go. Let's see, we already have some tags. I missed them before because in Streamlabs OBS, it's not logged into my account and I can't figure that out. Paul McDonald with the first tag says, love RimmyTim streams, very chill. Family Guy for already liking the script font. Yes, thank you. Paul McDonald. RimmyTim got my first TBS VTX today, I used it for my goggles, and I got a decent amount more range, even on your 1S. Whoa, dude, nice. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, I think they make a decent product. So, glad you're getting more range already. That's awesome, man. Yeah. What's up, B-Man? Bob Noxious, I've been alright. Been better. Chris Croft, nearly as messy as my bench. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's organized. Music's a bit high. Alright. Those are T-Motor Blackbirds, right? Nice. Let's bring that down. Let's try that. Alright, let me move back over to the mic. Tell me how this is. It could have swung way too far the other way, but let me know. Soldering irons plugged in. Okay, so I don't remember actually what I did last time on this stream. But I've done a decent amount of work between the last stream and this one, so I'm just gonna kind of jump into it. I basically built up the whole quad and tried to fly it, minus the air unit. I just hooked up my own, where's the flight controller? You know, there it is. That's a bad thing to lose. I just hooked up my own free Sky receiver that I knew was already bound up. It's just a spare that I've had sitting in a box for a couple years, just to get it armed and see if I could. But the issue was motor 4 was not, it's good now, sweet. If you guys want more music, I can definitely bump it up as well. This is an old friend of mine. So we'll play through a little bit of his music and then try something else. This is the Skyliner Ladrib frame. Yeah, so I couldn't get any real signal to this motor, and the ESC was having some other weird issues in BLHeli configurator. I tried a bunch of different settings, a bunch of different things. The only thing I didn't try was like swapping two motors to see if the issue was the ESC or the motor, but these look like brand new motors. I would be shocked if the issue was the motor itself. I couldn't even get it to like spin at idle. So brand new ESC sitting right here. We're gonna wire that up. Daniel, if you're in the chat, I would be curious to know if you have a preference. On this old one, you had it where the XT60 leads were coming out the back. and then they had to run over the air unit, but that made the mounting of the capacitor pretty tight. On this new one, if you don't care, I'd be happy to mount it on the side like this for you and get these XT60 leads coming straight up towards the top plate, but it's up to you. If you're not in the chat, I'll just, yes, he's here. So yeah, if you've got a preference on mounting, that's the way I usually do it. I can show you the way I usually do it is I have the battery, and then you can, when you plug in the battery, you can wrap the battery straps around the actual plug, and it makes it so that it literally never comes unplugged mid-flight. Now I realize that with this particular frame, the way the top plate sits on there, messy bench means I can't find the top plate right now. I haven't lost any of your stuff. Multimeter each pair of wires on the motors to see for resistance, to see if anything's out of whack. I thought motor wires had continuity between them naturally. I was pretty sure that was a thing. Or is that on the ESC side? Because I know something has continuity. Check for resistance. That's what you're saying. Normally do that, but mount the ESC in normal direction. Yeah, I almost always rotate the ESC 90 degrees, and then I'll just repin the wire harness. Just swap around the white wires until you get the right order. Well, these look like they might be glued in, so that could be a little tricky. This is, for anybody who's curious, the Mamba F60 Pro 4-in-1 ESC, 32-bit. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I can go ahead and start getting gummies in and stuff like that. Okay, so we've got a spare flight controller there as well. I will be pulling gummies out of this guy then, very carefully. Yeah, my multimeter's been acting up recently too. Yeah, how do you check several ohms of resistance? So how do you check that? I'm not super familiar with multimeter use. Set it to ohms, and then just grab two of them, one, and come on, two, that's 0. Swap the wire, 0. Okay, this is the problem wire then, or the problem motor. 1, come on. I need those alligator clips. Okay, well that read as it climbed, and then it went back, and then it went to OL, which I think stands for overload. It didn't show 0 like it did for the other motor. Now it's showing 0. Why is that different? Okay, let me swap wires then. Come on. I'm struggling here. Yeah, so what does that mean if it shows resistance? Does that mean the motor itself is bad? Or maybe motor bolts or something like that? Come on, bud. Okay, so it went from 0 to OL and back. What does that mean? Here we go. They're gonna have several ohms of resistance. I like the ESC pretty resilient. I have 2 of that same. Just look for low ohms or open circuit is really what I do. And you can visually inspect the motor for enamel building, enamel bubbling if there's been an overheat. I think these are brand new motors, never flown. No enamel bubbling or browning or anything. The enamel looks crisp. There should be resistance. It means the windings are good. Resistance is good. Okay, so why did this back motor show 0 then? Was I just not doing it right? Well, that one's showing 0. What does OL mean on the, there, now it's touching. 0.9, 0.5, 150, did that say 151? What? It's jumping around, which I guess is good, but I don't know, I'm confused by this. So supposedly that means the motor's fine. I would really be surprised if this well is open, that's not good. All right. Known good motor right here. Here. You guys can see that better. Known good motor. Because I've seen this guy spin. I've also seen these 3 motors spin on this guy. It's just that 4th one. All right, come on. Yeah, I'm covering up the screen. That's all right. I'm moving. Okay, so like some resistance. Okay. No resistance. Okay. So let's go back to this motor in question then. Okay. So, grab that, and then once I make contact with this other one, it goes to 0. Whoops, lost contact. Okay. So it's behaving the same way. There we go. Okay, now I'm swapping wire. 1 and 2. Okay, that seems to be normal, right? And then last pair, middle and right. Zero. Come on. Whoops, I lost it. Come on. I don't know why that one's 0. There we go. Okay. I think the motor's fine. But who knows? I'm not an electrician. Did Daniel ever respond to how he wanted the ESC mounted? Brand new, never flown. Daniel. Where are you, bud? Out the side is great. Sweet. That's what I'll do then. And I'll just repin it for you. So, so let me just explain. The reason I do it out the side is for security in the XT60 lead. So I have space in the back to mount stuff without it flopping around. So that I can battery strap the XT60 in with the battery. It's just been the most reliable way to keep the battery leads, the wire themselves, from getting chopped in the propellers. The way I do it, and the reason I do it the way that I do, is because when you rotate it like that, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 ESC output, and you can go into Betaflight and do motor remapping in the CLI under resource remapping, and apparently in newer versions of Betaflight they're going to make a UI for that, which will make it a lot easier. But the way I do it is I swap these wires around in the wiring harness so that you never have to worry about Betaflight configuration being wrong when you update the firmware or anything like that. It's just a hardware fix so that motor signal, the signal wire for motor 1 ends up on the ESC that's on the back right arm, and the labels on here will be mismatched, and that's okay. But the back right arm will be motor 1, the front right arm will be motor 2, 3, and 4, and you just match up the motor output from the flight controller to that. It's not that difficult. Okay, so we're gonna get some hardware going. The first time I rebuilt this quad, I totally didn't pay attention to what Daniel sent me, and didn't see that he had sent me hardware, and I just used my own. And yeah, then I realized he sent me all the hardware for it, so I was like, well, that saves some time, or would have saved some time if I'd paying attention, but I didn't, and that's okay. So we got some spacers here too. Just get this thing. We're just gonna start rebuilding this quad basically. Okay. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I don't think I explained it super well. Daniel Lee, who's in the chat, sent me this quad because he and I had been working together for a little while, and this quad was just full of gremlins. He couldn't get it working. I couldn't really get it working just over text with him. And so at the end of the day, he asked if he could just ship it to me, and I'll do the repair here and then ship it back. I did. I do offer that as a service. If you're not in the mood to work on your quad yourself, or you want to just kind of have the ease of having someone else fix it. So the fact that I had been working with Daniel for a few weeks, maybe a month or so before then, just made it a natural. We'd been working on other quads and new builds and various repairs and just various stuff. So be right back. Okay. dinner is in the oven. So yeah, if any of you want, oh shoot, there's 2 different kinds. I should have just used the ones that slip on, not thread on. Are there multiples of them? That's what you get for not paying attention. You end up doing a lot more work than maybe you have to. No, there's only like 2 of them that slip on and not thread on. So I'll just keep using the ones that thread on because they should be the same height. I mean, that's what we want, some consistency. Also, it's good to have something threaded on, in my opinion, at the bottom of the hardware stack, because otherwise you get all that wobble in this bolt here. Even when you kind of get everything in and tighten it down, there's just a little more wobble. But when you tighten it down with a nut, or in this case a threaded spacer, it just tightens that up. So it's the better way to do it anyways. Okay. Yeah, I don't mean to call, let's see, Paul McDonald says, RimmyTim is a great resource for us noobs. Yeah, I've been working with Paul McDonald a lot as well. A good amount through Discord. Honestly, like, oh, that's the non-threaded one. Like, I'm not saying it just because you guys are here right now, but like you two, Paul and Daniel, you guys have been like some of my favorite clients. I hate that word, but yeah, like just you guys ask good questions. You're like curious to learn it yourself, whereas a lot of the other people who have reached out to me to work with me just kind of, they come in with like a certain amount of laziness. They just want it done for them. But like, there's something to be said for coming into this hobby with a passion for learning the ins and outs of it. And it's a hard it's a steep learning curve. It's really hard to get there. And like when I got started, I needed help, like from some local people and from the online forums and this and that, and like there's just so much to learn. It's really hard to know where to get all the information from, and if you can just find someone, you know, 1 or 2 people maybe to kind of consistently go back to. Thankfully, there's resources like Joshua Bardwell who make, like, you can kind of just type in your question in regards to FPV into Google or YouTube search, and a lot of the times you'll just find the answer right there. Okay, how do I want this? But it's not always that simple. Oh, this is not big enough for gummies. Okay. I'm glad I checked that. That's okay. The ESC doesn't need gummies. Yeah, push that out a bit. Okay, I'm really glad I checked that before I tried to take all those gummies out. Well, that means we need more space because I was anticipating those gummies to be nice and roomy. But now that I have hardware down, I can use some little rubber grommets, which I could use these tall ones, but I think I'm just gonna go with 1 or 2 of these little black ones that I have like 100 of. And what I'm doing is I'm just creating space between the bottom of the ESC, no matter which way I mount it, the bottom of the ESC and the frame, specifically these frame bolts that come through the press nuts in the frame here. They stick up just like 1.5 millimeters or so, and if the ESC makes contact with those, you could short out and fry it, and that'd be real bad. So I'm gonna try 2 of these, see how much space that gives me, and then if it's more than enough, I can go back down to just 1 per screw. But yeah, it's just what I was saying earlier. It's just really nice to work with people who see if I can show you guys that spacing. Tilt it. There we go. So we got plenty of room down there. I'm gonna try just 1 and see how much space that leaves. I could also flip it and put that plug on the bottom instead of the top. There's still plenty of space. Okay, we'll try just 1. So yeah, when I decided to turn FPV Mentor from a basically a hobby into an actual side hustle of sorts, the reason I did it was because I had a few people who had reached out to me, just because I've been in this hobby for so long, and I tend to spend a lot of time in Facebook forums and groups, just sharing my knowledge for free, which I still do. Yeah, so occasionally people would just reach out to me. Just get some more fresh air in here through the window. People would just kind of reach out to me. Brandon Beans wants to make a Zoom course on black box analysis, filter, and PID tuning. He needs to make a course outline and figure out how many sessions it would take, maybe a few students at once. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think there's still a lot of, strangely, there's still a lot of like mystery around PID tuning in general. Filtering, PIDs, all of that. And I don't know how important it is to focus on black box in this day and age, but it's definitely still a good resource to know how to use. I think I've come to realize that in order to get, in order to get a quad 90 to 95% of the way to where you want it for a really good tune, 95% of the way to a perfect tune, you don't need black box really. It's just about the listening to it in the air, watching back DVR, and watching back HD flight footage. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the quads that I build and fly, the priority of them is GoPro footage. And so if the GoPro footage looks clean, like, it kind of doesn't matter how clean the black box looks. Like, I know they correlate in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, like, it's I don't know, in my mind it's just easier to focus on, if the end result is video, then tune for video. That's been my philosophy. It's not perfect, and I think a lot of people want to learn more about the ins and outs of filters and PIDs And I think black box is a pretty great tool to get that going. Okay, so right now, I know you guys can't quite see it, but I'm trying to align the XT60 lead so that when it comes out of the frame or when it comes out of the ESC, the wires naturally so if I shorten this red wire, it naturally pulls it to a 90-degree bend there, and that will line up with about where the top plate is and where the battery is sitting, and then you just plug it in there. That's my tactic, is make the back wire shorter than the front wire. I guess you could do it the other way, but this way seems to work best. I'm gonna give a little more red so it can kind of push, so that it can stretch front or back depending on where you need the battery to be, where how long the battery lead is and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna take that, that's my measurement, and I'm gonna cut it. Whoops. Cutting it right below the ESC, but the most important part is to cut them even, and it's only a little bit of wire on each side. And I say cut them even, but when I straighten them out, you have a few millimeters, 5 or 6 millimeters, maybe even more, of difference. I guess I could always just measure this difference and then cut that regularly, but some ESCs have the positive and negative in different order, don't they? Negative in the front. I don't know, maybe not. I'm looking at all my different rigs. Negative. No, this one has positive in the front. So I have all mine coming out the right side, and this one, yeah, this one has positive in the front, but it's also not the same type of connector, so I have to lay it flat and then bring it up, which works well enough. What do we got going on? Black box. Here we go. Black box is a great tool. A good clean standard build doesn't need it. Yeah, that's a good point, Brandon. But yeah, there it is. Problem quads, strange drones, octos, lifters. They do typically need a lot of attention. That's spot on. The most common request I've seen recently for like help with tuning is stuff like Ciottifpvs. I saw some guy in like the Betaflight Facebook group asking how to tune in Betaflight an 1800 motor to motor, 1800 millimeter motor to motor quad, and like the first comment was like, wait, that's like 1.8 meters across. Are you sure you typed that right? It's like, yeah, it's just the big quad. And like, you know, it's that guy's choice to flash that quad to Betaflight instead of whatever other firmwares people typically use for large commercial drones. But yeah, like Ciottifpvs are a hugely growing market, and it's really important to get those things flying smooth and clean, like way more important than any 5-inch quad I've ever built, because like yeah, the stakes are just so much higher when you've got potentially like a Hollywood director that you're trying to impress, you know? Okay, so you can get the soldering iron going. What is this? Aaron Ciotti just sent me a video. Oh, buddy. Birthday candles. Secretive. Wait, I just got a notification. Why did I just ignore that? Daniel Lee sending $20 via PayPal. Thank you, sir. I'm honored. I'm honored by you. If anybody else has any desire to support me in any way, the best way to support me right now is just follow me on social media. The link that Paul McDonald shared, linktree/RimmyTim. You can also get there by just going to fpvmentor.com. That is my link tree. Whoops, almost dumped all that out. All right, let me clear some space real quick. But the, fpvmentor.com will get you where you need to go. And there's a PayPal link there. That's a fine way to show me that you love what I'm doing. If that's not in the cards for you, I totally understand. Like, I'm not providing any direct service to most of you guys watching right now. And so the best way is just hitting that subscribe button right here on YouTube, going over to my Instagram, following me there, and then FPV Mentor has a Facebook page, and you can give that a like. Yes, that's the best way you can support me, honest to God, is just give me a follow on Instagram, give the FPV Mentor page on Facebook a thumbs up, and add me as a friend if you want while you're at it. Daniel Maurer, Daniel, Maurer is my name. FPV is my game. Okay, well, I've screwed up. The soldering iron got hot right as dinner is ready to come out of the oven. Give me a few moments to step away, and I'll give you something to watch in the meantime. Something nice and chill and long. Yeah. Oh wait, it's problematic. Hold on. Alright, we're gonna pause that music. I'm gonna grab the desktop. For anybody who's curious what music we've been listening to, it is can't talk. Mood Funeral. Check him out on Spotify. He's dropping a new single on what's the date? I should know this. I want to say November 15th, but just give him a follow on Spotify. It'll make him real happy, and he's a great artist. So enjoy. No, I can't go full screen, right? Was it choppy when I went full screen before? I need some feedback from you guys. I'm just gonna tuck my recommendations off to the side. And yeah. There we go. Oh, perfect timing. That video is, I don't have the chat open again. New subscriber, Over Beast. Thank you for subscribing. I don't know why that was hard to read. That was downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. Where I used to live. Not Charlotte, but yeah, North Carolina is where I used to live. And that was like day 14 of quarantine last spring. It was like April, like middle of April or something. It was like city was under crazy lockdown. The whole city was dead when I was there. I wasn't even supposed to like be out of my house. It was, yeah. Everything was under lockdown, and I woke up before the sun rose, drove an hour and a half to get there, and just flew as the sun was coming up. I saw one vehicle other than my own the whole time I was there. I was there for like 2 hours. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Don't fly spots like that unless you've taken proper precautions. Dinner's ready. I don't want to really eat on cam, but cheers to anybody else who's enjoying themselves tonight. This is Dragon's Milk White Bourbon Barrel Aged White Stout. There we go. Come on. I don't actually know who brews this. I guess Dragon's Milk. There it is. New Holland Brewing Company. And they're out of Holland, Michigan. That makes sense. Cool. And it's just ooh, that was my funny bone. It's just frozen pizza for dinner. So I'm gonna get this ESC nice and hot, and then let it cool down and take a few bites and back and forth, I guess. So we're just gonna start off with battery leads, I suppose. Actually, no, I'm gonna start pre-tinning all the motor pads. That's probably the smartest thing to do now that I think about it. Also, now that I think about it, I slightly trimmed up some of these motor wires when I rebuilt it the first time, because Daniel basically just sent me a box of parts. Oh, let me get music going again. Goodness, this whole streaming thing is hard, you guys. I don't know how to do it. Oh, and now, okay, here's what I need to figure out. I need to figure out Circle K purified water, you know? Cheers to the purified water. What I need to figure out on OBS Streamlabs, which is on the monitor above this monitor, is how to make the audio from my desktop loud when I switch back to bench cam, it drops back down. And I'm sure there's an easy way to do that, but I don't know what it is. And they're out of water. Is your town out of water? It seems bottled water seems like a unnecessary lose audio when I switch. For how long? Oh, wait. Oh. Good call. I muted the laptop mic. That's my bad. See, I'm figuring it out. But yeah, what I need to figure out is a way to keep audio loud on this scene when I'm playing like a video. So the audio is loud, and then bring it back down to this level for bench work. So it's nice and chill combo. Yeah, I had accidentally muted the mic on that scene, but it should be good now. Thank you for tagging me. Cheers, B-Man. Yes. Okay. Let me get this. Let me get some work done here. It's really easy to hyper focus on building when it's just me. But when you guys are here, man, it's good motivation to actually, you know, fire up the soldering iron and sit down at the workbench and actually do stuff. Otherwise, most evenings I'm inclined to just veg out on the couch where I don't have to deal with any of my life issues. Being lazy is not a healthy coping mechanism. But, come on. Alright, let me get rid of this front cage. Nope. What was I even saying? Yeah, so like, turning on a live stream is really good motivation to actually get me on the workbench. But at the same time, it is hard to focus on what's on the bench when I know you guys are over there. Blaming chat now. Yeah, I don't take the blame for anything. You don't know. You clearly don't know me, Adrian. That's not true, but yeah, I'll blame you guys for whatever I want to. I'm gonna blame you guys when my pizza's cold. I'm gonna blame you guys when the stream dies for copyright infringement on the music that I'm playing. I think I have Epidemic Sounds, but I need to cancel that subscription because I never use it. So I could find copyright-free music elsewhere. But generally, if you just find artists that are small enough, it's really not a big deal. Or just use artists that you know personally, and hopefully if they decide to copy strike your video, you can just hit them up, text them or call them, and be like, hey man, not cool. Like the guy I'm playing right now. Like I have his phone number. I could just be like, hey Matt, not cool. Okay, and then we'll pre-tin the battery pads as well. Oh, they've got nice big... Okay, here's the tricky thing. They've got nice big holes for capacitor leads, but I've got the cap he sent over on a waffle cap with leads. So I'm probably just gonna tuck that behind the camera if I can. Yeah, I'm thinking mount it to, I'll probably have to, actually those wires might be long enough. I might need to extend one of the positive lead or something. But if it'll fit there, we'll see. If it'll fit between the, that'll be tight. Maybe not. We'll figure out the cap later. We just need to get this thing flying first. That is the goal for tonight, I think, is to hover it. What time is that? I have work in the morning. 10:25. Okay. Okay, let's get this guy nice and heated through. So I can talk through a bit of the process I went through to troubleshoot this, but basically it just came down to rebuilding the quad and just testing basic mechanisms, because what I got shipped was a quad that had never flown before, and what I was told was the quad would reboot constantly. Is Ciotti here? Where's Ciotti? Maybe make him... Where's Ciotti? Someone tagged Ciotti. Why don't I see Ciotti? Is he here? There he is. Only 3 hours from Charlotte. Here we go. How do I make you a mod? I already made Paul a mod. I guess I don't know how to do this anymore. Make me blue, you bastard. Hey, no cursing. I'll block you. I'll fucking ban you, dude. Don't try me. Why? Wait. What's going on? Oh, I've got top chat on in here. Live chat. There it is. That was weird. Okay, sorry about that. If I missed any of your chats. How do I do this? I don't know. Give me a second. I'm working on it. I know I've done it before. I guess now would be a good time to take some bites of some food. Live chat. What's going on? There's the chat. There we go. Alright. Ooh, it'd be really easy to just put you... Ooh. It'd be just really easy to put user in timeout, you know? For Ciotti. Let's see, who else in here deserves to be a mod? Only 3 hours from Charlotte. Ciotti in the house. Alright, fine. Ciotti's blue now. Oh wait, you guys... Where's my face? I'm so bad at this. There's my face! So bad at this streaming thing, guys. Sorry. I've got chat in like 3 different places, and only one of them does my name show up in orange. Like, what's going on? Yeah, no, it's... Sorry, someone asked what time it was here. Family Guyver. It's 10:30 now, where I am. Okay. Good time. To be fair, your stream didn't die immediately. Yeah, that's a good point. What do you guys want to watch? You guys want to watch something with me?
Nice and early. It also helps tag me if you type if you type Ciottifpv or @Ciottifpv in the chat, it will light up in orange like you just saw, and then I'll know that you're talking to me. Bob Noxious said, "What's up?"
I've got a, not that guy.
Jangle Squad.
I've got to watch this. Oh god. I've got to watch the stream, because what you guys know is I don't actually pay attention when I'm in the chat of Ciotti's stream. I just say random stuff and hope it sticks.
7.
Commentary stream. There we go.
I can do math. Thank you, Chris. Very cool of you.
All right. Do you guys want a secret? Do you guys want to know something? There's just a few of you that might know what the deal is with a certain account. You can't say anything about this. You can't say anything about this in Ciotti's streams. This stays here. But if you've been with the collective for a while, you might know that Ciotti has an imposter who has changed his name. RimmyTim reacts, no. There's an imposter who has changed his name multiple times. From SEA Audi FPV, Ciottifpv, FPV, to Gangly something. I don't remember what it was. Well, the current name is Lanky Bastard. It's me. I'm the imposter. It's been me the whole time. Shh. I will. Now I'm turning into Ciotti. I will find you and I will slit your Achilles tendon to any of you who spill the beans. Shh. It's me. All right. That's an exclusive for those of you who are true RimmyTim fans. Yes. It's not him, he's lying. Ugh, you can't fake that. You can't fake. Alright. Can't fake it. Can't fake it. So weird how that works. Boom. Fight me. Fight me. Can't take it. I typoed it. It's supposed to be fake it. Dang. It's the Spider-Man meme, but with Ciotti's face. Well, the thing is, like, I'm pretty dang lanky, guys. The Spider-Man meme. Somebody needs to make that Spider-Man meme, but with Ciotti's face. Bad Photoshop. Mm-hmm. It's okay, Ciotti. There's only like... Oh, wow, I have 16 viewers. How do I have 16 viewers here? That's crazy. Random in the house. What's up? Jackalope in the house. How's everybody doing? Sorry for just eating on stream, guys. That's super unprofessional of me. I typed it right. So does that mean the imposter is my imposter too? Oh, okay. Whatever you say, Chris Croft. I just do what the chat tells me to do. Who am I? Aaron, I'm sorry. Aaron, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I timed him out. Right? No, I deleted his message. Put user in timeout. Hide user on this channel. Remove moderator. Apparently, just putting him in timeout. Oh, there it is. Timed out for 300 seconds. Aaron, I'm sorry. I couldn't not. I'm gonna satisfy the viewers. He's gone, Brandon. He's no more. Only for 300 seconds. which is probably down to like, check my watch real quick. Aaron, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was not expecting it to delete all of his messages. I thought it just put him in timeout and let him not say anything else. I mean, you weren't wrong. He was spamming the chat. What else was I supposed to do, guys? What else was I supposed to do? Alright, I need to blow this chat up so I can see it better. Oh boy, that's too big. Let's try 150%, something like that. Oh man, yeah. I'm sorry, man. Mom and Dad are fighting. Yeah, he does hold a grudge. He'll definitely remember and ban me back. Okay, so I've realized, I guess these are still long enough. I don't like the braided wires, I'm not gonna lie. Primarily because at one point in my life, I heard that braiding the motor wires like this can cause desyncs or like weird issues. I've seen enough people who braid their motor wires that I don't think it's actually true. What are you guys talking about? Oh man, it's good. It's good. Cioti, I'm sorry. There. That's enough apologies. How many times is that? It's like 20 apologies. Get the music going again. Okay. This is not what I wanted. I wanted this album. Oh, it's on shuffle. Okay. Let's get back to the live chat. Live chat. Cool. No, Daniel, you're good. I'm just, I heard at one point that it causes like motor issues. And so I've never done it myself to like test it out because I was just like, oh, it causes issues. Well, I won't do that. And so I never have. But I've seen so many people do it just like this, and apparently they don't have issues often enough for it to like be a widely known thing. Do any of you guys know what I'm talking about? And if you have heard the same thing, it wouldn't hurt to back me up here. But if not, that's cool too. We don't feel the fire. But what I was worried about is these motor wires being long enough while they're wrapped up like this, because I trimmed a few of them up. But it looks like they're plenty long enough. The issue was before they were coming in on the side here, and now they're having to reach behind, which might be slightly longer. Not really. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, that's a little tight. Okay. Let me unwrap this one. I can always redo it. And just see how much more length we get. Daniel, I'm sorry if I'm just making decisions about your build that you don't want me to make, but you shipped me your hardware. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. You shipped it to me. You said, I trust you. That's what you said when you boxed up your gear and mailed it to me. You signed away your control. Okay. Picturing saying you're banned in red or something. Very anticlimactic. What do we got? Oh, Ciotti's giving me dating advice too. So there's at the bottom. Very anticlimactic, I thought. Oh. Wait, where is it? What the? Oh, you're still posting? None of those came through. Wait, what am I looking at? Says it at the bottom. Very anticlimactic. Oh, you've been placed in timeout by the owner of this video or a moderator. Got it. This is just Google's very polite way of informing you that you've been banned or put on timeout is, quote, "You have been placed in timeout by the owner of this video or a moderator." Good day. Thank you, Google. Chris Croft with the new sub. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Oh man. Alright, we're gonna unbraid all of these bad boys. And because the lengths are different from how they were at the end of the braid, I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit of flip-flop twisties, but not too much. Not too much. Yeah, the wires are a bit longer unbraided. Just a little bit. This one, like, the shortest one could barely reach this first pad, and now it can lie on the arm the whole way, and it'll still reach that pad with just a tiny bit to spare. Not enough where I want to trim it at all, but yeah, it's good. And then I'll do what I normally do with zip ties and or electrical tape over this. I might just rimify this whole quad, make it all purple and orange before shipping it back, because that's what I do, man. For those of you who don't know where the name RimmyTim comes from, it basically just means you take whatever gear you have and you kill it with purple and orange. The color looks weird on that, on the monitor there. I wonder if, I don't know. See you later, Aaron. Thanks for hanging out, man. Enjoy your walk. But yeah, it's just a matter of killing, absolutely murdering your gear with ugly purple and ugly orange colors, and it's great. It's a good time all around. Everybody loves it. It's a real crowd pleaser, you know. But RimmyTim, my FPV name, there's a not a video game character, but a character created by a video game YouTuber, like a create your own character part of a video game, in a like WrestleMania game, who just created this purple and orange luchador style monstrosity, and it was amazing, and it became a crowd favorite amongst the community of people who watch that man's videos, who I am a part of, essentially. And yeah, so it just became a matter of just stealing that name and the color combination that comes with it. When I joined the FPV hobby, and yeah, it was easy enough to just say, hey, I am the captain now. No, I am RimmyTim now. And yeah, just take RimmyTim and add FPV to the end of it, and that's my Instagram handle. And I used to race under the name RimmyTim. I actually, for a while, I couldn't quite decide what I wanted my FPV name to be, so I went with an old high school and college nickname, D-Mau, D-M-A-U, because it's my first initial and the first three letters of my last name. And that stuck around for long enough for me to do some team racing with a pilot who went by Maker, Maker FPV, and so we became Team Maker Mau, which was good. And then yeah, at some point in there, I was just like, no, I'm not D-Mau anymore. I'm RimmyTim. But my very first self-built quad was as ugly as they get in terms of bright purple, bright orange color combination. And I've very rarely built anything else other than bright orange and bright purple. And I have zero regrets. No shame. Okay. That should be good. It's not super clean, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna unbraid them all. And the rest of these I shouldn't have to cross the wires like I did on this one, because that was the only, or the one that I trimmed the most. I was gonna say the only one I trimmed, but I don't think that's true. Love those orange props. What are they? Family Guyver. Those are HQ 5 by 4.3 by 3 V1S. Just the V1S props. I've been running them for bloody years, and they're just a decent combination of nice and durable, snappy flight performance, decent flight times, decent power. It's good. It's just a good prop. Kind of gives you a decent experience all around, which I enjoy. But that being said, I haven't really tried that many of like the new props as they come out, like any of the ethics props. I may have only gotten like 1 or 2 packs trying any of those out. And I know a lot of people like those new props. And Applejuice FPV asks, what frame would I recommend for an upgrade from a Source 1 V3? I think my build is too heavy for a glide, considering QEVS or AOS 5.5, but open to anything. I'm hearing a lot of good things about that AOS 5.5. I think Daniel Lee in the chat could maybe tell you about his experience with it. I think he's had, what has he had with it in terms of issues? See, I can't remember right now. See, yeah, 661. Welcome to the chat, by the way, 661. Good to see you here. The V2S is supposedly the upgrade on the V1S. It's the newer version. It's the V2. So they're great. I've just been running the V1S for so long. I kind of constantly have way too many of them. The last time I got a shipment of them, they were like on discount, or I bought them secondhand or something, and I just got them for like $1 or $2 per set. I think at the end it was like, yeah, I think at the end it was like $1.50 per set, and so it was like basically 50% off. So I got like 20 sets of them or something like that. So I don't fly hard freestyle all that often. So it's not really an issue in terms of like, oh, I need so many props because I crash all the time. It's just more about just kind of keeping myself in the air occasionally enough to have some fun. I do a lot more cruising, cinematic style, as you guys saw if you guys were around when I showed some of my videos at the beginning of the stream, and then for a break recently. I do a lot of cinematic style flying, and I do a lot of long range as well. Yeah, you have the AOS 5, never mind, not 5.5. But 5.5, I mean, all you're gaining with that is a little bit larger wheelbase, which is going to give you a little more stability. And then the other thing you gain is the chance to run 5.5-inch props, which is only going to give you more power. So will it be a little bit heavier? Sure. But it's almost all upsides. Especially if you're running like a Hero 9 or 10 and overall your build's pretty heavy. I don't know what motors you're running. That would be a question. I'd be curious what motors you're trying to run. Apple Juice. Yeah, you're the one who asked. But Yeah, and also what makes your build as heavy as it is? Are you on a full-sized air unit? What's the rest of the build? Flies great, built like a tank. Arm changes are just too annoying with the screws going through the stack. Yeah, the glide avoids that. If you're worried about durability, you could get the glide hammer. It's a bit beefier, but still a good cheap frame. I'm trying to think of frames that I would really recommend. I feel like the QAVS isn't going to be any more durable than anything else on the market right now. I feel like it's just kind of the QAV frames have always kind of been like a solid middle of the road choice. Don't get me wrong, I had back in the day the QAVR1, I think it was. Not when it like first came out, but I picked one up at some point, and that thing was one of the best flying drones I've ever owned. It made race flight actually fly decent. I think I took that build from a Rooster straight to the QAVR, and the Rooster flew like crap. The Armiton Rooster, that is, for anyone who doesn't know. And the Rooster flew like crap. It literally shook itself apart with all the vibration on brand new motors, brand new race flight hardware, all this fancy stuff. It was also like impossible to mount a VTX in there decently. Like it's just such a bad frame in my opinion. But if you want to know more about that, I have a whole video on my channel telling you all about how I hate it. I think the QAV, what was it, the QAVS? I think, whoops, come on. I think it's a fine frame. I don't own one, never have flown one, but I think it's, it appears to be a really strong option. I would probably recommend the AOS 5.5 though, especially if you think your build is on the heavy side. I'm all on analog Family Guyver, yes. I do a mix of 5-inch and 7-inch. I'm trying to do more with 7-inch because I know it can just give such better efficiency, and I'm in Colorado and I'm trying to fly in those Colorado mountains a lot, and so that elevation really kills efficiency. And when you have a smaller propeller, like it hurts efficiency in a noticeable way. Here in Denver, it's not as bad, but once you get up to like, so you've got like sea level, Denver's around like 5,000 feet, and then where I'm flying is like 10,000 to 12,000 feet. Some of the time, not all the time. Yeah, it's like, it's a huge difference once you're up at like 12,000, even 7, 8, or 9,000 feet. Like it's kind of crazy. So I'm trying to focus more on 7-inch. I only have one 7-inch working right now. It's the Floss V3 7-inch with that big like command center thing. Here, let's see if I can pull it off the wall this time actually. That's the quad. And I've sent this thing out 2.5 miles a couple of times now. And it's awesome. It's very lightweight, it's very efficient, but it's very lightweight and it gets pushed around in the wind quite a bit as well. The ESC is only rated to 4S, so I'm kind of limited with that, but man, this thing it's fun because you can just kind of fly it for 20 minutes and not even worry about it. So that's fun. I do enjoy occasionally just flying forever and ever and ever. It's not not something I enjoy doing on a regular basis, but because especially when you're going somewhere that far away, like it gets scary. If you lose it, it's gone. For the most part, anyways. I'm sorry I'm such a slow builder, you guys. I'm just so honored there are so many of you here. Oh, we're down to 10 viewers, never mind. Paul McDonald, I got some of those. Here, let me go back up. Apple Juice says, I started with a ZMR 250 and wanted a rooster so much. Apple Juice? Same. I started with a ZMR 250, quickly moved to a QAV S clone by Real ACC or whoever. And then, yeah, when the rooster came out, I was like, man, this looks awesome. And got one and hated it. So I hope if you did get one, that you loved it. And if you didn't get one, good. You have no reason to regret or feel like you missed out on anything. It was pretty trash, in my professional opinion. And I am kind of a professional at this now, so it's not my full-time gig. It's just a side gig. Come on, bub. All right, I'm whoops losing out on flux here. People are still chatting. Paul McDonald says, I got some of those Hurricane Gem fans and love them up in mile high range. Yes. I'm guessing you're talking about 7-inch, but if you're not, that's fine too. Because that's good advice for me to listen to in terms of what to use for 7-inch or 5-inch rather, for long range to get better efficiency. Because I don't think I have the most efficient setup. My freestyle, my 5-inch rigs are typically pretty heavy as well, so that really hurts me in terms of being able to really fly that far. My solution to that is just like throw on more battery capacity most of the time, which only gets you so far because you really kill your efficiency by upping the weight. But I'm like, it's already heavy, so it's only so much damage I can do. The best solution I've found is, especially for mountain cruising, you typically don't need a ton of high-end power. So the solution I've been going to more and more recently is lithium-ion batteries. What's going on with the chat? I'm losing you guys. Apple Juice says, okay, AOS 5.5 is probably. I never saw what motors you're running. Apple Juice, if you want to drop that in the chat, I'd be curious what motors you're running. Yes, what do you think would be a top-end weight for a glide? I've just heard they need to be really light, but I could have the wrong impression. I think you have the wrong impression. I don't think they have to be light. I think a lot of people like to build them light, but I think you can build it up as just kind of a normal freestyle rig, and it's still an awesome frame. I think the frame is, it doesn't lack, but it is, it's a bit, maybe a bit thinner and a bit, not flimsy, because it's not flimsy, it's very rigid, very, very stiff. I don't have a ton of experience with it. I've built one, I actually have yet to fly it, but B-Man says, if I don't see a route where I can retrieve my quad, I have the shakes. Yeah, dude, the shakes when you're flying long range, the shakes are real. Yeah, Daniel Lee speaks real truth. Don't fly FPV further than you can walk. but it'll send the Mavic to the end of the earth. I mean, the thing with the Mavic is if you lose connection with it, it'll just be like, oh, we lost connection. I should go back. And it just like figures itself. Man, I've tried different tactics with long range. I've tried like standing, sitting, like lying down in a hammock, kind of not like flat back, but like in kind of a reclined position, and like, because a lot of the long range flying I do, I will like hike to a spot and then fly from that. So like I have to like pack in whatever or carry in whatever I'm flying with, and like batteries are heavy, but can't really bring like a chair or anything like that, so it's just a matter of figuring out what works. And I've brought a hammock with me a couple times and set it up and tried to like sit in it, and didn't make anything better. And then the wind picked up and started blowing me around in the hammock a little bit, and that made it a lot worse actually, because the worst thing, if you've ever like ridden in a car or on a boat or anything like that while under the goggles, like it is mad disorienting. Yeah, mad disorienting. Ooh, also I'm gonna shout out Paul McDonald, who sent me a few bucks on PayPal earlier. Paul, I know I thanked you already, but seriously, man, you rock. You're always generous and considerate of my time, and I appreciate you, Paul. What do we got going on in the chat? Apple Juice says I'm running 2207 1950 kVs. Seems like a glide would work. The cheapest you were looking at too. Yeah, what's the all-up weight? What Apple Juice? Like, what are you running that's so heavy on your Source One? I'm curious. Big GoPro, like the 2207s aren't that big of motors, so like it shouldn't be. I mean, I'd be shocked if you're managing to push over 800 grams, which that's heavy. Under 800 grams is like, okay, sure. It's really like within FPV 5-inch freestyle rigs, it's like 700 grams is like whoops, dropping solder blobs. That's why you don't solder over PCBs, ladies and gentlemen. 700 grams is like average, kind of, and then like 600 grams is the really light side for 5-inch freestyle with a GoPro, and then like 800 grams is the really heavy side. So as long as you're like, you know, all my quads are probably close to like 750 grams, if I'm being honest. Okay, there we go. I find it's typically a lot easier to just use tweezers to pull off solder blobs, let them cool, and then just like pluck it off. Because usually it like cools enough in the air as it falls down where it doesn't actually like solder itself to anything. It just kind of plops on top, and then you can kind of just pluck it off. You just got to be careful. Whoops. Around 800 grams, big GoPro and big battery. I mean, I don't know. Try smaller batteries. What are we talking? Jackalope, I'm in Denver too. Once I get a 7-inch, we should go on some adventures. Yes, always, Jackalope. I don't have enough motivation to go fly on a regular basis, so I end up like flying once a month, maybe. And I would love to fly more, so hit me up anytime. I'm trying to get Jax is a local pilot, Action Jax, and he has a 7-inch, and I'm trying to find a time to get out with him. Hiking to a spot is sick, B-man. Makes for the adventure. I'll do a few miles. Yeah, same. I haven't done much more than just like 2 or 3 miles to get to a flying spot. I'll do longer hikes on my own, but like with FPV gear, it's a real commitment. Dan Richmond says, my GPS altitude are always wrong and going up or down. Do I just need a better GPS, or is that normal to be in 220? Sometimes it seems right if I get like 12 satellites. I think that's the norm, Dan Richmond, is that satellite altitude estimation is pretty bad unless you have like that many satellites. I think the best solution that I've found, and I think all of my real long range rigs have barometers on them, and I think that seems to be the best solution. Is you can find a decent number of flight controllers that have barometers built into them, and yeah, that's what I would go for. You might be able to get what can you get? You might be able to get like a GPS module that has a barometer built into it, but I might be wrong about that. I feel like you can get barometers separately. In fact, we'll look that up. We'll look that up for you. I was gonna eat some more dinner. FPV barometer. Give you guys come on. There we go. Race day quads. Maytech M8Q GPS module with compass and barometer. That's chonky though. That's a big boy. Let's see what GetFPV has. Okay, so when you type in barometer, you get the Maytech F722, the Lux H7, the Lux F7, as flight controllers that have barometers built into them. I think there might be more. I think the Radix Brain FPV's flight controller has a barometer built into it. And then here is what I think is going to be your best, easiest solution without like spending however much a new flight controller is. What are these going for now? 60 bucks, 75. You can get that one for 46. That's not bad. So for 10 bucks though, you can get this bad boy. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an affiliate link. Oh. That was still my login. Here we go. This is taking too long. Sorry. Have a good night, Daniel Lee. I'll let you know when your quad's ready, bud. Sorry it took so long. Yeah, so the barometer is... I'll show you again. Whoops, I screwed up. Copy. Paste. Generate link. Copy. Here in the chat. Dang it, I'm messing up. It's taking way too long. Boom! Link to GetFPV. That is an affiliate link. Any purchases you make through that link, you don't have to buy the barometer. But if you do make any purchases after clicking that link, I will make just a couple bucks off your order. It's free to you. It's free to me. The only person it costs is GetFPV, and we all know they make plenty of money. Okay, so this product here is the Flywoo BQ Nano V1 Compass / barometer module, and it looks like you just have to have a free UART. Oh no, not even. You just need the SDA and SCL pads. So, not all flight controllers. If your FC board has a barometer, you need to disconnect the baro, pads. Okay, so on the actual chip, it's got some, but you just need a flight controller that has SDA and SCL pads. Lots of them do. That's for the compass, I know. And I guess you can get barometer through that as well. I've heard of issues with, yeah, there's the Brain FPV Radix, and it says right there in the description, custom graphical OSD, Baro, which is barometer, and stackable, which I don't know what flight controller is not stackable. So yeah, you just need a 3.3 to 5 volt. Yeah, I2C protocol. I don't actually even know what that means. And it's tiny. Just solder that boy up. So that there, that object, that silvery object with the little black hole in it, that's a hole. And if you cover that up, then your barometer won't work no more. So don't heat shrink this, don't electrical tape over it. Just get some VHB, stick it to the back, the flat side, and stick it in your frame somewhere. You should be good to go. Okay. Oh, you guys get to see all the behind the scenes stuff. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Bench cam. I need some hotkeys, so I don't have to screw around. But good question. Apple juice can just save 42 grams just by switching from the source one to the Glide. That is a large amount. That's a substantial saving for sure. I know I typically don't pick the heaviest or the lightest frames, but the Glide is definitely one of them. That's good to look up. Brandon Beans, what are you saying? Need a barometer for height and put some foam over it like that. You might get battery. You might get a battery pack and something similar to microphone foam. Can you cover up, right now? Can you cover up a barometer? I thought you had to leave it exposed to the open air. Yeah, the source one is a bit of a tank, but it's kind of designed to just be a very simple frame. So it makes sense that they just kind of built it to be durable and didn't put any effort into making it actually lightweight. I think conformal coating will mess it up. Yeah, I don't think you can conformal coat a barometer. You can loosely shrink it and you can put foam over it. I guess the foam kind of makes sense because it's not really. Yeah, it just needs air, because that's what a barometer does. It measures barometric pressure, which is like atmospheric pressure. Oh, prop turbulence. That's interesting. I did not know that right now. So apparently, the same way you put a windsock, or don't they call that a dead cat? I don't want to just Google dead cat. Dead cat FPV frame. Dead cat mic. Yeah, that grayish. That's funny because FPV frames are dead cat style. But yeah, so the reason you put one of these dead cats or wind muffs on a microphone is because it's oh, you guys can't see my screen. I'm so bad at this. I'm so sorry, guys. This thing, it's called dead cat. It's also called a lot of other things, but there's a dead kitten, wind muff, windscreen, yeah. But that's a dead cat. And then this is also a dead cat. But they're very different. That is also a dead cat. That's the FPV dead cat frame style. That's funny. So, the same reason you put a dead cat windsock on a microphone is to protect it from wind. It seems like you got to do the same thing on a barometer if it's going to be exposed to a lot of wind to prevent it from getting extraneous, miscellaneous readings that are not accurate to the atmosphere, but they're coming from the propellers or as you're flying around doing flippy floppies. That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It's interesting. Okay. What time is it? 11:15. Alright, I gotta wrap this up. Oh man, I've already been going for 2 hours almost. Alright, let's focus in. My stomach, I can't control it. That's not true. I've just been working all day and I need some calories. Dan Richmond threw a bot grinder, BQE bot AF frame into a tree. And you cut the tree down with it? What'd you say? Sorry. Didn't break an arm, but I cracked it and bent all the hardware. Dude, I have, yeah, in the olden days with those bus style frames, I mean, we still fly lots of bus style frames. That's what this is. You got like, it looks like a bus. Man, you hit something hard in the front if you don't have good protection up here, long enough arms or whatever. A lot of those squished X style frames, you hit the front and it just bends those front standoffs in. It messes up all the hardware. Yeah, good times. I don't think I've ever, what did you say? Cracked it. Cracked the frame or cracked the tree, Dan? That's what I'm wondering. Did you crack the tree? Because if it's a bot grinder frame, I'm surprised that tree's still standing. That's all I'll say. All right, not really. Okay, get some flux going. Alright, I think these are good lengths. We'll clean off the tip. I probably need to replace this tip or scrape it down with some brass wool or something. But I don't know that I have brass wool. I just use a sponge to clean. I could use some of that tip reconditioner that Ciotti always talks about. That would actually probably be exactly what I need now that I think about it. Okay, so this is a pet peeve of mine. You see right here, this wire has just a few millimeters of exposed wire, but that is too much. You gotta trim it down. And most people, they'll see that and they'll just be like, oh, I'll solder it on. And then they end up having just like a millimeter, maybe half a millimeter of hanging off. And it's usually not a big deal, but it just makes it look so unclean. So all you gotta do is clip just the tiniest bit off of the tip of that exposed part. You're not restripping anything, you're not retinning anything. You're just using a crappy pair of side cutters. You're using a crappy pair because that solder really makes the end of that wire pretty tough. And you don't want to use a good pair of side cutters that's gonna get dented or damaged from cutting into kind of solid metal like that. And then the end result is just clean. And instead of having anything hanging off the end, the wire insulation comes all the way up to where the solder ball starts. And as you see on all these, that one's a bad solder ball. But the, see if I can get that any more visible. That's as good as it's gonna get. The wire insulation just comes straight up to the solder ball. And it just makes it look cleaner. It reduces the risk of things that are just hanging out there, shorting against each other. And with motor wires, that can create some really serious issues. All right, that first motor wire might be a little long. We're gonna roll with it. Daniel, this is not gonna be the cleanest build. I'm sorry for that. At this point, I just need to put in the effort to get this thing back to him. He sent this to me while I was out of town, or right before I left to go out of town. Like, I got it that night that I was packing to leave. And since I've been back, I just have not had a ton of time to really focus on it. And as a paying customer, I feel really bad that he sent this thing to me, entrusting me to get it up and running and ship it back to him so he could have some fun with it. And here I am, just kind of sitting on my butt for a while. Thankfully, he's a very kind and understanding gentleman, which is yet another reason I love working with him. He is just a very caring person. Makes it, I mean, that's even like putting it in words that he's just understanding. Like he just listens and he says, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like he doesn't jump to conclusions. Like I feel like that's not that hard to do, but we live in a world, at least here in the United States, that seems to be a rare trait to find. People who listen and don't jump to conclusions based on their own opinions and biases. I don't want to make this political, but I'm just saying, like, people in this country are insanely selfish and hard-headed in general. All people of all races and cultures and political affiliations. People are stubborn, people are dumb, people are selfish. And I kind of hate it. It makes me not love living in this country, if I'm being honest. Whoops. I'm getting all slidey here. Alright, let's get these things going. Alright, same thing on this. I'm just gonna trim. Ooh, what's warm there? just a tiny bit. As you can see, these side cutters are bad and old, and so I don't mind using them for harsh jobs like cutting into pre-tinned wire, because I know pre-tinned wire is there we go. Okay, 4 motors are wired up. Now for the XT60, which I still need to tin. I'm also going to give a nice little refresh of flux to those guys. I'm going to close my pen cap. Okay, so this is where blue tack can really come in handy for plenty of things. As you heat up blue tack, it becomes more sticky, and so this whole object is going to heat up with how much heat you have to put into the wire in order to get it to absorb solder. I usually put my iron up to 350 or 360 degrees Celsius to work on wires this thick. I don't even know what gauge these are. 12 gauge? Yeah, it says it right there, 12 gauge. All right. So the key is having a good amount of solder on the tip of the iron and then just letting that sit until you kind of see things start to bubble. And then again, you only feed the fresh solder into the head or into the strands of the wire directly. Now you'll see I like spilled some solder onto the mat beneath it. I'm kind of like letting the tip of the soldering iron just like drip with solder. The more flux core solder you put into it, the more flux you get into it. So it's kind of okay with this much heat. It's kind of okay as long as you're soldering over the mat. It's kind of okay to let solder drip down. You just kind of want to make sure it's all absorbed in. So if you put too much on, it'll eventually kind of pool up and drip out. And then you just put a little more in and call it a day. That's my typical tactic. Is I'll put like enough in and then I'll just keep going a little bit, and then usually when I pull the tip away, it'll create a drip like that. I'll let it cool down a quick second, retin the tip, go back in, wait till it bubbles, go back in. And now you don't really want to go grabbing this right away because it is hot. Ooh, yep, that's warm. All right, I'm gonna just reduce that temperature back down to 350 Celsius. All right, now I'm gonna make sure that this pin goes the right way. I think I already double checked this actually. I'm gonna double check it again. So this goes in, and basically what I'm doing right now is I'm letting the XT60 wire cool down. Okay. Ground, VCC, 1, 2, 3, 4, TX current. Because this is a different ESC than the one that initially I had going, I just want to double check that everything's going to be good. And yes, it is. I remember that I checked this the last time I worked on this. But it's good to double check the harness, good to double check the plugs. I will need a little bit of space. So the flight controller thankfully already has its gummies in. But yeah, I'm gonna need a little more space. Okay, that should be good. It doesn't hurt to mount the flight controller while you solder the battery pigtails in. So this is what I mean. Sorry, my mind's all over the place. That way, as you run them up, just grab a second one here. You know that you're not gonna like lean in and bump against the flight controller. That'd be bad. So you want to make sure it's coming kind of straight up. And it's good orientation to have that in. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out for now real quick. The other tricky thing is I've suddenly possibly required the flight controller to be mounted sideways. Let me see if I've got a long enough harness. This was the longer harness too, right? Where's that real short one? Yeah, so I've got this as one option and that as a slightly shorter option. But to get it plugged in right, the board goes this way and it's got to make it from that side to that corner. And I just don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to test a few different mounting orientations. First, I'm going to add some space. What's going on in the chat? Paul McDonald, the link to fpvmentor.com. Thank you, sir, for dropping that. That is my website. If any of y'all want to reach out to me to have me work on your build, be more than happy to do so, on stream or not. So I can get a slightly better view there. I haven't been tagged in a while. Brandon Beans a while ago said if you ever have wires that are too short to trim in order to clean up the exposed bit, you can pull and stretch some insulation from further up the wire. Yes, you can do that. And I actually did that as not intentionally actually, but as I tried to smooth out the wire has memory from it being braided, so it looks all kind of gnarled up and wrinkly. I tried to kind of straighten that out, and as I did so, I kind of pulled the insulation down the wire and lost a lot of the elasticity that it might have otherwise had, which is okay, but it does kind of reduce the ability to do exactly what you're saying. Okay, so I'm going to try untwisting this wire completely and see if I can get it to set. I don't think it will. Nope. Okay. So I bet you I could get it on backwards, which might not be awful. I'm just really pulling on that wire. The other option is I could rebuild a wire harness. So I could do it backwards or I could do it sideways. That's pulling pretty hard. I don't like that. So I'm just gonna stick with sideways, at which point I can go back to the shorter wire harness. But let me double check here, because I do have some longer harnesses just lying around from recent builds that I've been doing. Are these the same? Yeah. Okay. So as long as the pins match up, you can kind of do whatever you want, but I don't think they will. No, that's too many. I'm sure I could rework this. At this point, it doesn't seem quite worth the effort. When I could just turn the gyro 90 degrees in Betaflight. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna rotate it in Betaflight. No shame in Palmathon asks how the naughty word, how do you get wires uniform? Is there any tricks or just a lot of time and extra wire? Yeah, I mean, you can see here, like, this looks like crap. But your race wire build should look a lot cleaner, Paul. I've found that, yeah, just like using tactics to like just kind of keep wires short. Like that's kind of that's honestly, that sucks, but that's kind of one of the best tactics, is just keep wires short. The other way, and I did not build this actually, but is contain your wires. Zip ties, electrical tape, another zip tie. This is a very thin arm, so you don't really have the option to let the wires slide around, but just tape, zip ties, glue, whatever you got to do to kind of secure the wires into place. I'll use zip ties on all sorts of things, camera wire, yeah, motor wires, battery leads, whatever, just to kind of keep things clean. And it makes a nice difference for sure. Okay. So, but I'm not worried about that right now, as I'm still kind of in the troubleshooting process. So once I'm ready to get this build kind of packed up and sent back to Daniel Lee, at that point, I'll tidy it up. But that's still a little bit away, ways away, because I got to make sure that this thing's good to go first, and make sure it'll actually fly for him. So the goal is to get the wire coming straight up. That's pretty tricky. So there's no real trick to this other than lots of heat, lots of time. So I like to heat up the board first and then set the wire next to it or against it, and then push the tip into the wire, and hopefully the heat will transfer through the wire back into the already warm pad. Come on, bud. And you really typically don't want to use your hands to grab it, because it gets real hot real fast, but sometimes you just kind of got to manhandle it. All right, this is not going well. Come on. If it's not going, maybe you need a little more solder, maybe you need a little more heat. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna actually pull it out. I'm actually gonna turn the temp up just a little bit, because this thing is really sucking heat in. Come on. Come on. I'm trying to pull it off now, and it does not want to come. There we go. All right. There we go. I think that's it. I'm gonna add a little more solder into that because I pulled out quite a bit. Okay. And at the very end there, I'm actually going to go a little bit further. At the very end here, I'm making sure the orientation is perfect, and in order to prevent it from hitting the flight controller, I'm just tilting it out just the littlest amount, and it ends up, from my perspective, looking like I'm tilting it a lot, but when I look back down on it, it's kind of straight up and down, which is what you want. Okay. Now it probably wouldn't hurt to let this whole board cool down a bit. I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm at 370 degrees Celsius now, and this guy definitely is moving quicker than so same thing, once it's in, tilt it out. There we go. That feels pretty good, actually. I might need to get that positive wire a bit further back. In fact, I am. I'm just going to do that even without testing against the, even without installing the flight controller to test the fit. Sorry, I know this bench cam is kind of crap. If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, just put it in the chat and I'll ramble through it. Ramble through an explanation. Whoa. Uh-oh. Okay. And then you just want to check the bottom to make sure it's kind of shiny, make sure it's kind of ball-like. I've got some little points on mine, but which is not ideal, but when you're dealing with this much heat, it's kind of hard to avoid burning off all the flux and ending up with, it's not a cold joint, but it's almost there. If it was cold, it would be dull. It's not dull, it's very shiny, but it most certainly does have the beginnings of that kind of long pointed part, which is indicative of a dull joint. So that's pretty perfect. Cool. Now everything's nice and toasty. 661, I just have the stock TS100, whatever firmware it comes with. RimmyTim firmware. I'm gonna look that up right now. TS100 RimmyTim. Cool. I will hold on to that. I might do that later. No, I don't have any brass wool. I need to get some. I used to have some. I know my tip is a filthy mess. Okay, so I should be able to just plug in a battery and get 3 ESC tones. And if I plug in the flight controller, I should get all 5. I'm going to be a little more careful than that. So, just going to get a little bit of this flux cleaned up just a little bit. I know it's not really a big deal, especially since it's not really on any of the chips. It's just kind of at the connectors themselves. And whoops, it's no clean flux, but I wish it was Candy Rock. Where'd the lid for this go? I'm so bad at there it is. I'm so bad at losing things. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and use this short guy, I think. and repin it. Oh wait, it says it goes the other way. This is important. This is actually a directional one, which is kind of dumb, but at least they have it labeled. Like there's an arrow, signal needs to go this way to the flight controller. Which wait, this way. Why is there an arrow that way to the flight controller? Yeah, which is weird because signal, I guess power flows that way, and it is on the power leads, so that makes sense. But when in doubt, just check the pin out, and it says ground on the end, VCC next to it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So, because I'm using this little guy, unfortunately the USB cable I think is going to end up at the front, which is pretty obnoxious. Daniel Lee, I'm sorry. I know you're not here anymore, but that's how it's going to be, and I'm sorry about that. Thankfully this one has Wi-Fi in it, so you can access the flight controller via the app, SpeedyBee app. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's easy enough. Okay. So I'm gonna repin this real quick. This is nigh on impossible to show on camera, so I'm not even really gonna try. The Menace is in the house. Zanakis here? I don't see him. Menace, Day Richmond, 661, Bob Noxious, Jack Loeb. Zanakis! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing well, Zanakis. How are you doing? Not bad. Working a ton of OT lately. Long days and longer nights. Oh no. Oh, Nevin. I'm guessing you don't mean work on FPV Exchange. Oh, you guys. Big news. I just sold my first object through FPV Exchange very recently. It was a flight controller for a wing. Sold it for like 30 bucks. Cash in my pocket. Got rid of a part that I wasn't using anymore. Super easy. Nevin. Hooking it up. That 30 bucks allowed me to enjoy a beverage tonight, essentially. Okay, to the flight controller. So, motor 1. I know the better way to think through this. Signal 1 needs to go to ESC pad 3. So it's got to come out of 1. Come on. Doesn't want to come out. I might just use this replacement, because as I try to pull these out, it looks like there's a little bit of glue or something going into it. If any of you guys don't know what FPV Exchange is, just go to fpvexchange.com. No, not at all, Nevin. I had a few interactions with other buyers on there. I don't have a huge library of products because, like, most of the stuff that I've bought over the years, I've flown and broke, so it's not for sale. And then I've had a few people reach out, but they were like wanting to buy some batteries from another like country overseas, and I was like, honestly, that's probably not worth it for either of us, because the shipping of the batteries is Yeah, it's gonna be a pain. Speaking of, B-Man's gonna go open another. Yes, sir. Man, why is this not coming out? Dang. It's making me think I should just remap it in Betaflight. Yeah, if you don't know FPV Exchange, fix that yourself. I'm not gonna fix it for you. No, FPV Exchange is awesome. It's a website where you can buy and sell FPV gear. What more do you need to know? Like, it's not rocket science. You can buy and sell FPV gear. Like, at the very least, everybody here enjoys buying FPV gear, right? All of you guys. You love buying FPV gear. FPV Exchange is a place where you can do just that. It's a miracle. No, it's way more than that, but yeah, I have an extra 30 but well, after a case of beers. What was that? Like 10 bucks. 20 bucks in my pocket. There you go. Paul McDonald with the link. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna... Dang it. I guess I'm just gonna do this in... Betaflight. Let me see that longer one. Where'd it go? Oh wait, what is this one? There's another one. It doesn't look like it has any glue. It's got some grass. Like actual grass, not like weed. Okay, I'm gonna check this one, see if it works on the same pattern. Okay, ground voltage. Yup. Ground voltage. That's all you really need. The rest are just carrying signal. Like, they're carrying them straight across on this one, so they must. So it's good that it carries it straight across on this one. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. This is getting kind of crazy. So that way to the flight controller. So motor signal 1 needs to go to ESC pad 3. That means I need to at least pull out 1 and 3. 1. Okay, yeah. It's easy enough. And I do have that extra connector if I end up damaging this one. But I think I can get away without damaging this one. Okay. 2 and 4. Yeah, so I need to swap all. None of them are correct. Which, if I had done this differently, I could have gotten away with some of them being the same. But I didn't. What time is it? Ooh, it's bedtime. Goodness sakes. I have a full day of work tomorrow, ladies and gents. That was a lovely burp. Okay, come on. Sorry, this sucks for a live stream. You can't see anything. But I'm just using a sharp blade to gently pry up the pin. That will allow the conductive mechanism to slip out. I'm just going to kind of press those pins generally back into place with some tweezers. And now, I know this side's the flight controller. This was the ESC signal 1, so this must also be signal 1. And on the ESC, the number 3 is on the back right motor. So 1 goes to 3, and that's just simply the 3rd slot. And it's just that easy. You just put it in, make sure it's in the right direction. Okay, 1, 2. Motor signal wire 2, and the ESC's labeled 1. So second wire, is that one, goes to the first open slot from left to right. Come on. And sometimes you'll get it in, you probably won't be able to see this. Sometimes you'll get it in and there's still just a little bit of metal sticking out the back, and then your wire will like crinkle, wrinkle, and you can't push it any further. Just get tweezers. You don't want it to be a blade because you don't want to cut the wire. And just kind of get it underneath the butt of the silver part and just push it up into there. And it doesn't look like it's all the way in, but the test is, can you pull it out? And yes, I can. So I'm going to double check that I'm putting it in the right orientation. Looks like I am. Getting the same thing where it's kind of resisting right at the end. So I'm going to try this again. Seems like it rotated right at the end, but I think I heard it click. So just give it a gentle tug, and it's not coming out. Good. Okay. There's motor signals 1, motor signal 2, motor signal 3, and there's a 4 on the ESC. So the 3rd wire goes to the 4th slot. It's really this easy. And then you never, ever, ever... Oh, that one just slipped right in. Perfect. And then just to double check, 1, 2, 3. Motor signal 4 goes to ESC2. 4th wire, 2nd slot. This way, instead of just saying, oh, last one goes to the last one, if you screwed anything up in the process, that is the 1st, the 2nd slot. Good. And that one slipped right in too. So I only had one that fought me. And this is the hardware solution that will last forever. And every time you update Betaflight, you'll never have to ever mess with it again. You won't have to copy and paste stuff out of the CLI, anything like that. Even if you swap flight controllers, as long as the pinning is the same, yeah, you won't have to do anything. It is... Oh, this wire is a bit longer too. I wonder if I can rotate. I don't think it's any longer than the one I tried before. Ooh! Nope, I don't think that's gonna work. Hold on. No, that's not gonna reach. Dang it. Okay. Let's see if I can do it this way though. Comfortably anyways. I think I can. I think it's a little stretched thin. I think it'll work without damaging anything. Maybe not. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's pulling pretty tight. Okay. Dang it. Never mind. We want everything to be fitted but not strained. So I'm gonna wrap it around a couple times. And the downside to this is really only that the USB cable is now coming out the front, or the USB port. So configuration could become an issue. So this thing should be ready to hover. I'm gonna grab a smoke stopper right here and battery. The minute the pins go whatever direction I put them in. And that was the right direction. Alright. Y'all get to hear those ESC tones. Moment of truth. Sounds good so far. I can turn on my radio. That should light up green. We should get a bind. Yup. We're bound. I wonder if it'll just arm right away. I do have the smoke stopper on, so if it trips, it's just pulling too much amps. Oh. In, or sorry, out, 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 out. Let's go. Oh, you guys can't see my face. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yes. This is not what it did with the last ESC. So the problem was the ESC. We are fixed. Smoke stopper's not tripping, so I'm gonna go ahead and just confirm that we're good to go. That still always makes me nervous. Plugging it in for the first time without a smoke stopper, I don't know why. It still always makes me nervous. So, arm again. We've got air mode on. Yes! Should it have been able to pull that much through a smoke stopper? Good question. Here we go. Wait. Paul McDonald got 2 of those mini stars today. Nice, man. These are the 4S ones, but I'm assuming you're talking about the 6S. Thank you, Bob Noxious. I'm excited about lack of smoke. Paul McDonald should have been able to pull that much through a smoke stopper. Motors idling are pretty low amperage. This doesn't have any peripherals either. So a VTX that's going to pull like half an amp. Legitimately, they do pull like half an amp. A camera pulls like 0.2 amps, something like that. This is just flight controller and receiver that need to be powered. The motor's spinning. I actually don't know what this smoke stopper is rated for. But I don't know if I should do it on this quad for the client. I'm going to do it on my own quad, I guess. Hold on one second. Where's my Tango? You make me curious. So, if I grab up this quad and I power it on, no smoke stopper, I should be able to get it to arm. Maybe not. I don't think I set this one up. Never mind. Okay. And all my other quads have props on. So that leaves only one option: to do it with the client's quad. Don't tell him we did this. So yeah, I'm kind of curious as well. At what point
Telemetry recovered.
does the smoke stopper actually trip? I wouldn't accidentally. Yeah, I know it's a crap one. I know it is. It's the Race Day Quads one, but I've had it trip before and like save a component. I don't use a bench power supply. Okay, so we can arm. At what point in the throttle? Oh.
Telemetry lost.
Yep, there it goes. That made it higher than I thought it would.
Recovered.
And it slowly
RF
ramped down.
low.
That was interesting. But it's totally tripped now. It's dead. I can't
Telemetry lost.
bring it
RF
back
signal
without
confirmed.
power cycling it.
Telemetry recovered.
That was interesting. Yeah,
Telemetry
that was
lost.
interesting. I mean, we should still be fine. So it is a little warm, but not too bad. Not it like barely at all.
Telemetry recovered.
And then now without the smoke stopper, normal weird air mode stuff without props. That's awesome. I would love to get it to hover real quick, but I don't think that's in the cards for me tonight. Yeah, cool, man.
Telemetry lost.
Yes, it is. Oh, it was a ramp down. Get that thing in the trash. I mean, it's the only smoke stopper I have right now, so I kind of have to hold on to it just for the sake of trying. It has saved an ESC before, although it didn't save the ESC because the ESC was just dead out of the box. But it told me that the ESC was dead, and then I went ahead and plugged it in without a smoke stopper, even though the smoke stopper told me everything was wrong. Yeah. Okay, so quad's flying. Now I just need to kind of keep rebuilding it, make sure that the air unit is working and all that. We've got some solder blobs on the back of it. I think it came like that, but yeah, I need to get all that. Whoops. Now I'm dropping solder blobs into the quad. That's not great. Yeah, so I need to get this sucker fully wired back up, unless someone wants to buy an original DJI air unit cam. Shh, just kidding. Those things are like gold now, aren't they? Oh no, they're not. I totally forgot. They just like re-released them, which is cool. Paul McDonald says, I have an Acon F4 in the box. If something happens, I'll send you. Yeah, it didn't like snap cut the power. It was weird. It faded out. Yeah, it was very weird. Add Fly to your cart right now. Yeah, next time I place a good order, I will. Nebula Pros are coming back too. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. You DJI pilots, you guys you're living la vida loca, living the dream, living the high life. Now that you can get the Vista VTX with the good cameras, it's awesome. Happy for you guys. Shoot. Got motor spinning. All right. Got some work in the firmware to do to make sure everything's updated. That's a new ESC, so I'll probably flash it to the latest, this and that. Thank y'all for hanging out tonight. It's been a blast. Been a real pleasure. How do I... There we go. There I am. I'm bad at this. Hi, Mom. I'll give you something to watch as we cruise on out of here. Man, I love doing this. Chatting with y'all. I've held like 10 viewers this whole time. That's better than I've ever done before on these live streams. So I appreciate y'all hanging out. PayPal Fly Fund. Did you send me something? Paul McDonald, $5 on PayPal. He says, Fly Fund, great stream tonight, man. I think I speak for all of us when I say we look forward to the next. Paul McDonald, I deeply appreciate you as a human being. And what do you guys want to watch? Something. Keep it quick. Oh, this is a good one. This is a quickie, but a goodie. Thank y'all for hanging out. FPVmentor.com if you have any needs in FPV. I'd be more than happy to help. It basically, the website basically just guides you to where you can DM me. So if you already know where to do that, just do it. I'd love to help you with any projects
I came upon a spot that
you may have. Calm down. Right on. It's been real. Keep it real. Hang loose. Hang 10. All that. And this is taking way too long just to get this closing video set up. No, Bob Noxious, I don't have enough subscribers to super chat. So make sure you're subscribed to me if you want to be able to super chat me. That's all. Love every single one of you. I do.
Well, I came upon a spot.
And let's get you out.
Spot I'd ever seen in my life. And I said at that time, if I ever had the
Yeah,
power,
FPV Mentor, link in the
I would
description.
build a house. I always wanted a house in the mountains. When I was a kid, I wanted a house in the mountains. And I said if I ever get the chance, I'll build a house in that. And then it came and I did. And I built it on the spot that to me was, as I said, the most beautiful spot I'd ever seen.